So we're live at Live Casino right now, guys. Thank you so much for coming and joining me. Thank you so much, Sam, for coming. For those of you who don't know, my name is NicoleJGlass, and this is the Social Media Club. I started this club about 6 months ago, I would say, and took a little bit of a break. I just felt like I wanted more for what I provided. And I feel like it's probably a good story for a lot of people in this room, including Sam, and in his journey. And we're going to get into some good conversation. We're going to have open questions. It's going to be open dialogue. We're drinking. We're having fun. It's not going to be too long of an interview, but I really want to get to the meat of who Sam is and his journey and his purpose and where he's going and all of the amazing things. There's a lot of amazing, incredible people in this room that I've gotten to know over the years. And one of the things that I truly discovered was the reason I am who I am is because of the relationships that I have in the community. And hopefully in building this space today, I could give that value to you guys because you guys are in this room for a reason. And hopefully we can make something magical together and create memories. But yeah, so I'm going to introduce Sam. And I'm going to start out with how we met. So I met Sam at a mental health Black men's panel, and he's super low key. Like he was kind of in the corner, like, "Hey, I'm Sam. This is, I'm just the owner of this place." Little named. I'm like, "Oh, shoot, okay, nice to meet you." And I didn't really know what Philly Create was, but the more that I dove into it, the more that I was seen there and like came, the more that I respected it. From what I got personally, it was a space for creators to be themselves and to create no matter what level they were at their journey and collaborate and collectively create together. So the event that I went to specifically, there were photographers, videographers, models, other content creators. And I'm really awkward and anxious, believe it or not, even though I'm up here talking to all of you. But in the inside, it doesn't necessarily feel that way. You have to build it with consistency and time. And so what I really respect about what Sam does is he hosts these like monthly events, right? Once a month, where all of the creators collaborate together outside in the middle of Philly. And I could feel people's confidence like leveling up every single time that they attend his event. And it's almost like he creates this consistency and this like genuine, authentic energy that people show up to and they literally get better. And it was absolutely amazing because there's not a lot of spaces like that in the city. And I just wanted to like give you your flowers and just know a little bit more about you. So thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. How many people have been to Philly Creek before? Can I get a hand for the people that have? I see some of my friends in here. And some of the cameramen, all the cameramen actually. Yeah. Being inside this space has connected me with pretty much 90% of the cameramen in the city and probably like 100% of the models in the city. Did you ask me a question? Was there a question?
No, I mean the models of the city. Like I put that in there. No, but for sure. Like it's beautiful. Like, and I have your magazine upstairs. I'm gonna bring downstairs. But Philly Create also has a magazine, guys.
Yes,
like
we do.
where you can see the work of everybody collectively coming together. And I wanted Sam to bring the mag, but he said they're sold out. Which is just like a testament to the work that he's doing. Yes. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So my first question to you is like, you're at this point in your journey where you're collaborating with like hundreds of people at this point, right? Per month, even like per week. What did that journey look like for you? And like, how did you get here?
I think it came from a need, right? Like growing up, I went to 12 schools before 8th grade. So like, I could make friends, but I never had a community. So like my whole life, I think I've been searching for a community, looking for people that were like me, that cared about the things that I liked and like wanted to talk about stuff that I wanted to talk about. Like I got tired of talking about sports and things that didn't affect me at the current moment. So in my journey of like searching for it, I never really found it. So I started creating that thing that I was looking for, and I kind of created a space for myself, but for people like me. And then I didn't know that there were so many people like me. So I started like kind of broadcasting my message, like very vulnerably, like, hey, I want to do these photo shoots, come out and hang out with me. And the first time we did it, I charged $1 because I just was like, oh, we need to create value. We need people to pay for it to make sense. Like free doesn't make sense. And we did the first one and like 6 people showed up. And I'm like, damn, $1? And we only got 6 people. I like rented a car and like did all this stuff and I lost all this money. And I was like, this might be a bad idea. Like maybe nobody wants to do photo shoots. And then the next one I was like, you know what, let's just try it for free. Let's see what happens. Let's do a free one. And then like 150 people showed up. And it was very overwhelming and it rained and people were like, are you still gonna have it? It's raining. And I'm like, nah, we never cancel, we never reschedule. We just kind of do what we do. Like if you're a creative, you have to create in all circumstances. It doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing. And we've had 35 Philly Creates. And there's people in this room that have been to Philly Creates where it is like snowing outside. It's been like 15 degrees. I see Aaliyah shaking her head. There's a photo of the snow falling on her and she's talking to some like 8-year-old girl at the art museum. And, you know, like, I didn't know that there was this many people that like resided in that space and needed the same thing I needed. So it came from a place of just like building a thing that I needed, right? And there's 3 things that we do with Philly Create. There's the community, there's the consistency, and then there's the content. And it doesn't exist without all 3. And if you don't do all 3, like how do you build a business without all 3 of those? So that's kind of how I got here. It's just searching for my community, not finding it, and then broadcasting my message and the people kind of finding me, finding and aligning with me and saying, hey, I want to do that too. I want to do photo shoots. Like, because on the weekends, like there's a few options as you grow up. Like you can go to brunches, you can go to the bar, you can go watch sports, and you can get drunk, right? And I was tired of like just going to the bar and doing these like frivolous things that didn't apply to like my future or build the things that I cared about. So I was like, let's try to do this like thing where we can meet up and create content and build our portfolios, because like everybody's a creative now and everyone wants to build their portfolio, but there's nowhere to go to truly build your portfolio. And as a creative, it gets like kind of weird out there, right? Like if you're a model and you're looking for a photographer, there's like this weird sketchy area. And if you're a photographer looking for a model, they don't answer your DMs. So like there's this weird middle ground that like people can't bridge the gap. And I kind of found a way to bridge that gap of being a space where models can come and feel safe and photographers can come and find people that want to create with them and learn how to not be creepy photographers, right? Because there's this stereotype with photographers that they're creepy photographers. So at the beginning of every Philly Create event, we give like tips on how to not be a creepy photographer every single time. Because a lot of times, like on social media, we're social, but we're kind of anti-social. And I think that people are socially awkward and don't even realize it a lot of times, and they don't know what they're doing. They do something weird and don't realize they're being weird. And sometimes you gotta like pinpoint it and call them out or just let them know in a safe space, like, hey man, we don't do that here. Like, we don't operate like that here. And you let people know that this is a protected space, and they just keep showing up and they keep coming out and creating with us and building with us. And I think the word of mouth is one of those things that really pushes it.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that because that was going to be my next question. I felt super safe when I was there and recording with photographers. And what was also really cool was as a model, there's a couple of models in this room. Shout out to y'all. What was cool for my perspective, I'm not a model, but like having a model experience with 6 different photographers at once, it allowed me to discover which photographer I liked working with. You know, because like different photographers had different personalities and had a different like eye.
Yes.
And I just thought that was the coolest part of the experience is like I'm running through 6 to 10 different photographers. And first of all, they ask you if they want to take pictures of you. Mm-hmm. And so like you have to be approached too, which is interesting. But like, how do you get people to feel so safe? And now I'm hearing you say intentionality is you set the tone for safety and for like decorum. So what does that look like? Because I saw it in person. Yeah. But like, what's the speech?
Well, I'm not gonna give the whole speech because it's like it gets longer and longer every single event because people are like, last time somebody did this, and I'm like, all right, it'll be in the next speech. So my speeches are getting longer and longer, but really it's just like giving photographers tips on how to not be awkward and how to not be like weird towards models, how to give direction, how to engage with people in an appropriate way, how to like not objectify a woman even if or a person even if they're beautiful in front of you. Like you can appreciate someone, but you don't have to always say something. You don't always have to like stare at them. There's ways to kind of be appropriate in this world, and I think we lost that. You know, we lost it on the internet. You can talk as much trash and hide behind your handle and do it whatever you want, but in real life it's different. So we kind of set the tone that way. And that's like the main thing is just letting people know, and even letting any model, male or female, know that like if you feel uncomfortable, just come and let me know because we'll do something. I don't know what we're gonna do all the time. Like we're not gonna jump them, but we're gonna approach it and deal with it and tell them to stop being weird. And if people are weird enough, then we'll just ask them to not come. Like that's what you have to create a protected space. And when people know that you'll speak up on their part and you'll say things and kind of stand on the things you believe in, they'll just keep showing up and keep feeling safe. And just don't be weird in the process.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I've seen some success stories come out of your space. I've like started following Philly creators, and like there's models on like Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and stuff like that. So I want to know like what's like the biggest creator success story that came out of your space that you can think of off the top of your head.
Well, there's a couple, right? Like there's been a guy that shot with us. It was his second photo shoot ever, and he got signed to an agency right after. There's people that have shot with us or walked for their first fashion show, because with us being a safe space and an inclusive space, a lot of times we create spaces for people that don't traditionally fit on the runway. So there's like traditional fashion and New York Fashion Week and a lot of these spaces want tall, skinny girls. But the world doesn't exist only with tall and skinny people. There's short, skinny people. There's people that are plus size. And we just create a space where everyone feels safe. So when we have our fashion shows, it doesn't matter your body type. We have something for you. There's a space for you. Like that's kind of what we do.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the next question I wanted to ask you was, I feel like Philly Creates really like fashion centered. So do you have like fashion sort of like tabs, like designers? Like how does that work when you connect a model to a runway that is out of your organization?
How do we connect models to runways out of our organization?
Yeah. Is there a process to that, or are they just kind of searching for that on their own?
I think they find it through the network, right? Like because with so many models in the space, people talk. So a model might be here and has walked for Philly Fashion Week or New York Fashion Week, and it kind of just it spreads. People will share the tips, they'll share the ideas, they'll let them know about casting calls. A lot of times models create group chats for each other to like share these ideas and share different things and what to watch out for and where to go and who's paying and who's not and all this good stuff. So like it's kind of this self-sustaining system of people that kind of protect each other and cover each other. But I don't necessarily like send people to other fashion shows or runways, because if I don't know them, it's hard to like vouch. And the fashion industry is just a very interesting space, and it's not always protected. So like I don't always feel comfortable sending people to places. But in our space, they can get down. There's always space for everyone in our space.
Absolutely, that makes sense. And I want to ask, like, for people who are in the creative space and aren't where they want to be yet financially, how have you seen people create success from the business aspect? I can see that you're at the level where you're hosting events and you're building partnerships and you're creating wealth for yourself. So within your space that you have, what are some of like the business aspects that you've seen people create?
Well, I think one of the most important things is creating content that converts, right? Like you want to create content that can sell an idea or tell a story or sell a product. Because if we're just creating content to create content, you're gonna be a drop in the ocean. Like if you're not communicating your idea or someone else's idea, it kind of just falls on dead ears. Even if it goes viral, like what is the purpose of it if we're not actually driving a true intention and communicating what we want to communicate? So I think that's one of the most important things is like being intentional with your content, being intentional with your ideas, and not just shooting to shoot. Like, who are we shooting for? What are we trying to communicate? What brands are we trying to connect with? When you come to our event, a lot of times I'll say, like, everyone has something different to work on. Like this person might need to work on giving model direction. This person might need to work on their own personal content. This person might need to work on their personal network or their creative network. So when you come out, it's not all about taking pictures. It's about building yourself and the things that you do so that you're more marketable. Because a lot of times I don't think you determine the value of yourself or your product. A lot of time the market does. You don't get to just be like, okay, so I'm charging tomorrow. I'm not doing any more collabs. I'm not doing anything free. A lot of times people say that and then they're not shooting. They're not working, because even the working photographers will collaborate or work for free to keep the consistency, to stay on the timeline, to be around and to be like valid. You can't just stop. You can't just say today I'm charging, because the market kind of chooses. It's kind of like art. Like I know a painter that prices painting at $260,000, right? In his mind, it's worth 260. But if nobody bought it, is it worth 260? If nobody's promoting it, if nobody cares about it, if nobody's collecting it, what is the actual value of it? And a lot of us are like creating content, and we're like, I'm creating content and it's not working. But who are you creating content for? If you're creating a reel of yourself dancing, where is that going to land? That's going to land on some weirdo's timeline that likes to watch people dance. Like, what are we creating for, and what is our intention behind our creations? So I think it's like putting more intention and energy and specificity behind what you're creating.
Yeah, I'm gonna expand on that too. Like, intentionality is everything, guys. And if you've been coming to the social media club meetings, that's exactly what every single person who got up here to speak and say something, they had an intention. And it wasn't to bring value to themselves, but it was to bring value to other people. Right? Like,
Yeah.
this is like, it's literally like, this is the success model. And like, just for example, I'm doing the social media club. We're here in a different space. We're here at Live Casino. And the reason why we're here, we're receiving free drinks and free food, is because I'm creating content for the casino in like their hotel rooms, like with their food. You know what I mean? And like, I'm helping them build something that they wouldn't have otherwise. I'm like, hey, I can create this value for you. Can you just give me this like one little thing? And a big part of like my own personal success, and I was telling Sam earlier, has been, I always think about how I can serve the other person in front of me before I eat. And I only believe if our interests are aligned. Like, if we have aligned interests and we have where I can serve you and provide value, I don't really want what you have if I can't provide value to you, because that just sounds like I'm just a leech and I'm just taking from you without providing anything. And so just that mindset that Sam has, that everybody else I've talked to has, like, that's literally the reason why they're successful, is because they are constantly seeking out, how can I provide value to others? And I think so often we can get confused and we can get mixed up with like, I want to win. I want to provide value for myself. I want to get to this place where Sam's at or where Nicole's at. And most of the time, it's really how well can you serve that determines where you're at. So I really appreciate, you speaking on intentionality, even with content creation and building business and building money. And I really want to get into like the money conversation. We don't have to speak numbers, but like at the end of the day, social media and content creating, like, this is a business. Everybody wants to create from the space where they have this abundance of money, right? And so I'll just like be completely transparent right now, is like, I'm really trying to create value for myself and create money in this space. And I'm looking at, like, I'm a content creator. I do affirmations for Black men every single day, but it's not creating enough money for me to sustain like my lifestyle. And I like really expensive things, as you can. So, I need to be in spaces where there are people that I can provide value to, that can afford my services. So I need to be talented enough to provide value to people who appreciate whatever I'm providing. So it's just like that way of thinking. And so this is just like a short business model of like video production services of what we're doing for Live Casino. How much is this going to be worth to Live Casino? I'm not doing this again for free. Don't get it twisted. This is just off the one-off, But next time, yesterday's price is not today's price. Next time it's going to be a fee, as long as we're talented enough to have something that they're willing to value, right? And so if I can provide value to Live Casino, they have way more money than whoever I was previously working with who couldn't pay me. And so I just want to know who it is that I can provide value to, and really give them real value they can't provide anywhere else. And as long as they can write the check and it's worth it to them and it's worth it to me, it's like a beautiful relationship. So, and that's like really my intention, is to provide, if I can provide value to Sam, like I was telling him earlier, it's like, I just want to provide value to you. And that's my next question is, Sam, we're sitting here in this room with all of these amazing, beautiful people who are doing incredible things and have creative ideas. So I want to manifest, like, what do you need right now? And how can we help provide value to you?
I probably need more time in the day, to be honest. I need more hours because I run out of hours. I end up just dying on my couch every single night, just trying to finish my work. But I think, like, as a creative, probably the thing I need the most is probably back end, like admin help, project management, because as you grow, the things that you were doing, to get you to this level aren't the things that are going to get you to the next level. And then as you start taking on more projects, it starts overwhelming you. So it's hard to continue juggling all these balls in the air and not drop anything. So I think the biggest thing for me is like admin and back end, because I have a lot of like the event stuff and the engagement and social media, but it's really like the less fun stuff, the computer stuff, you know what I mean? But I think I wanted to touch on something, like you were talking about trying to make it full time and things like that. And I think a lot of times like people put in part-time efforts and they want full-time results, right? And like you have to put in more than 40 hours. Like I thought not working and doing this full time, I was going to be able to make my own schedule, but I don't. I work 16 hours a day, every single day, all 7 days a week, holidays and everything. Like I just got a booking for my studio on Thanksgiving Day. And I'm like, damn, am I gonna pass up this money so I can go eat Thanksgiving dinner? Like, what am I? And I text my friend Al in the front right here, and I'm like, Al, you wanna work Thanksgiving? He's like, no, man, I'm trying to go see my family. So, you know, I'm still working on it. We accepted the booking and I'm gonna figure it out. So I might be working on Thanksgiving, but it's just that thing is like, to do something full time, you have to put in full time hours. And I put in over 100 hours a week on this thing every single week without a doubt. So like the reason I can get the results is because I've been putting in the hours for years. It's not like you don't get the results today from something you did yesterday. Like I'm not gonna do sit-ups today and have abs tomorrow. You know, like you gotta wait. These things are baking in the oven, and the things I'm benefiting now is stuff I've done 9 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago that kind of positioned me for this and made me the person that's kind of available for these opportunities. And even for like branding deals, like sometimes I feel like people find you through your effort, and then I think other times you have to reach out. Like one of the deals I have now, I just DM'd a company. Like, so I have a model photography meetup, and I DM'd a camera company in Philadelphia, and I was like, hey, I think our brands overlap. We should sit down and talk. And they were like, sure, come in on Friday. And after 6 Friday conversations, which was way more than I wanted to do, right? I had to keep going back, but sometimes these corporate things take time. So I had to keep going back and kind of like throwing ideas out there to see what would stick, and eventually something stuck. And then we did that, and then they were like, hey, we want you to do something else. And then I did something else, and they were like, oh, while you're doing this, can you also do that? And we have a budget for this, and it kind of opens the door. So coming up in this space, like I would get like an offer to do something for $200, right? And I would only do $200 worth of work, and I would be like, I'm done. And I wouldn't understand why they either wouldn't come back or I wasn't getting more opportunities. And now, if I get a $200 offer, I'm not taking a $200 offer, right? But
He's like, whoa.
I'm just being clear, but I'm just using the number 200, right? So if I get a $200 offer, I'll do $1,000 or $2,000 worth of work, because I only have one way of working. I only can give all of myself or none. Like, so I'm gonna give it all, do all the work that I can. Like I have someone that just paid for a commercial photo shoot, right? And they didn't want to pay for video. And I'm like, man, fuck, they don't want to pay for video. You know what? I'll just pay for the video. I'll bring my video guy in. We're going to run this video play, and they're going to see the video. And if they want to pay for it, cool. And if they don't, cool. Because we only have one way of working, which is providing the best possible product, the best possible service, no matter what. So instead of like stopping when you hit your threshold of your $200 limit, no, you just do what you do, and you be who you are, and you excel and exceed in the spaces that you're supposed to be, and they'll call you back. They keep calling me back and like, hey man, your pricing's not crazy and we want you to do this. Can you do this? And I'm like, yo, add a couple stacks to that, you know? And they'll talk, you know, the conversation. He's like, let me get back to you on Monday. I got to talk to my people, but the conversation persists, right? And you start understanding where the stretch is and where like the limit is. And sometimes it might not, they might be tired of paying me. So I might need to pull in one of my friends and be like, yo, bro, come on over here. I need you to run this little influencer play real quick. And you got to talk, because I can't talk no more. They already gave me whatever they're going to give me, but you come over here and they'll give you probably $1,000 to just talk on the mic and do this thing. And it works, like, but you have to exceed the expectations every single time. You can't stop at 200. You have to go and do what you say you're gonna do, and more, and then they're gonna call you back. And then what happens is they're like, hey, we got a budget for this much. And it's easy for you now. Like, you can kind of like it's a light lift. It's not the same lift as it was 2 years ago. So like the work that's really hard now becomes easier over time. And like what you're being paid now, you'll be paid more for later. So you got to just have a certain standard and live up to that standard and not wait. Like, so 40 hours is not enough for your business. You can't work part-time energy and think you're going to get full-time benefits, right? And find the brands yourself and pitch ideas. You have to come up with really good ideas. Like a lot of these brands want you to bring the idea to them. They want you to say, hey, I got something, I can bring all these people here, or I see that you guys are trying to do this, maybe I can help you there. And it might not be the exact play, but if it interests them, they'll bring you in and you can actually have a real conversation and they'll tell you what they want you to do and what their budget is and if you can work within their budget. So that's my tip on getting more branding deals and making more money.
It's so crazy. You weren't here at the last social media club meeting, but that's Christian Crosby said the exact same thing. He's like, the 76ers asked me to do this small thing and I just over delivered. Literally, he's like, I over delivered. Mm-hmm. And then that one small thing turned into the next thing and turned into the next thing. And like, that's how he built. And so it's just confirmation to like, that's what works. And that was absolutely amazing. And just thank you so much. And my last question to you is kind of, what is the coolest thing about what you do? And then on the opposite of that, flip side, what is the most difficult? And so you can take a moment if you need to.
I think the coolest thing is that like 5 years ago, I would like dreamed of the moment that I could do it full time, right? So like just being present in this moment and being here with you guys and talking about the things that I do. Like I don't like interviews and this is not my thing, right? But like the fact that people want to hear me talk is like kind of profound, right? Like it's something that you work towards and like an energy you work towards. And I don't work towards interviews, but I work towards being the best possible creative and delivering the best possible product every single time. And it just opens these doors. So like just having the opportunity to one, serve a community, right? Like I have a community of people that I wake up every morning and I want to serve them. What can I do? How can I make them better? How can I find a better space for us to shoot? Or how can I make the next opportunity more fun? Or how can I get more people paid? So like, I think the best part is just actually being able to do it, you know, and being able to share it and being able to serve. And like when I get opportunities, even at my last meetup, there was 100 people in front of me and I told them like, hey, this thing is sponsored, guys, and this is how it got sponsored. This is how you get sponsors. Because I don't care. I don't need to gatekeep. There's enough opportunity and space for all of us out here. There's the budgets are there. And like just because I'm getting it doesn't mean you can't get it, right? So like gatekeeping and blocking people and not sharing the information doesn't serve me. And my job is to serve others. So if I get information, I just open the door. I leave it cracked and it's your job to kind of break in. I'll leave the door cracked every single time. So that's my favorite part is just being able to serve the community and do these things honestly and with integrity and consistently. And I think the hardest part is the same thing that's the best part. It's like the double-edged sword, right? Like it's having the responsibility of serving the same community that rewards me, but like having it just kind of hang over my head of like, I owe them something, right? Like I wake up and I am of service, and that's kind of draining at times to be of service to so many people and to be responsible for so many people, but it's also a blessing. So it's not a curse, but it is a hard part of it, right? It's a hard part to serve a lot of people and to wake up and consistently do it, because I get tired just like everyone else, but the money ain't waiting. The opportunities aren't waiting, and I know that I can outwork the average person, so I'm gonna keep working, and if you're not working, you're gonna be behind me, and you gotta get to work. You gotta work more than 40 hours a week. Like, I see a lot of you guys in here like, hell yeah, you gotta work 40 hours a week. Because the people in here don't work 40 hours a week. If you do this full time, you're working 60, 70, 80, 100 hours a week. And sometimes it looks like fun, right? Like, I'm at Philly Create, and it's like, it looks like fun because there's 150 people around me and we're creating. But I am so drained after that day. Like, seriously. Yo, I haven't been online for 11 days since my last event. It's actually a little embarrassing for me because I don't normally do that. I normally post my content and share, but I just burned out and I needed to stop. I needed to take a mental health break, and today was the first day since my last meetup, and I just put it online. I'm like, yo, I needed a mental health break, y'all. I'll update y'all tomorrow and we'll be back to it. And people respond and they don't care because we're all in the same journey. We're all fighting the same battle. We're all chasing a very similar dream. So if there's someone in front of you that's actually sharing the truth and saying like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm tired, you're going to respect it. And you're going to come out to the next event because I'll be there. We've done this 35 times. We're not going to stop. We've never changed the date. We've never changed the time. We've never rescheduled. And I know if I show up, my people show up. So on rainy days, we have these events and I'm driving and I'm like, oh man, I'm nervous. The last one we had in New York, it was like downpouring. We expanded into New York, the event, and it was downpouring the whole way. And people are DMing me and calling me like, is it still happening? I'm like, bro, we're on the road. Driving from Philadelphia to New York, it's happening no matter what. And we had like 75 people out there that drove from Philly, that came from New York, that were just there to create. And they're like, this is so much fun. And I'm like, rain, man, rain sucks. But they enjoyed it because as a creative, there's no boundaries. If you're shooting a wedding and it rains, you're shooting in the rain. If you have a booking and it rains, you're in the rain for your booking. So with my business, nothing stops us, and as a creative, nothing should stop you either. So that's all I got.
No, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Let's give it a round of applause. Wow. Thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Oh, thank you.
You provided so much value to me in the space, and I just want to open it up. Does anybody have any questions for Sam before he sits down?
Why did you pick this specific creator to work with?
Most of the time, it's because they are saying something that we either can't say or that a creator can say better.